This is an interesting case of a police shooting which led to a civil lawsuit. The plaintiff in this case is the estate of Victor Thomas. Victor Thomas was a 27-year-old African American. He was an unemployed bricklayer who leaves behind a wife and 2 small children. The defendant in this case is the Toolbox, a chain of over 1,000 big box stores. This story starts at the Toolbox on Halsted Street in Hammond, New Jersey. The Toolbox has video cameras around the store and employs public liability officers to monitor the store for theft. It is common for the Toolbox and other retailers to employ off-duty police officers as public liability officers. In this case, Public Liability Officer Damon Jack, also African American, is an off-duty Hammond police officer working part-time at the Toolbox as a public liability officer. On the date in question, Damon Jack saw what appeared to him to be a theft. On the video camera, he watched as Victor Thomas took a pair of leather gloves, appeared to tear them apart, and put them on his hands. He continued to watch Victor Thomas as Victor walked toward the kitchenware department, picked up a kitchen knife set, and placed it under his jacket. Public Liability Officer Damon Jack then left his office and walked toward the exit in order to intercept Victor Thomas. When Victor saw Damon waiting for him by the exit, he ran out the entrance and down the street. As Victor was bolting out the door and running down the street, Damon used the telephone by the cashiers, dialed 911, and reported the theft. Officer Jack told the 911 dispatch,
"Yeah, this is Hammond Officer Damon Jack, badge number 72492. I just witnessed a theft at the Toolbox on Halsted and 12th. The purpose, a young black man in a blue hoodie under a black leather jacket heading north on Halsted. The purpose armed and dangerous."
Damon Jack did not identify himself as an employee of the Toolbox or inform the dispatcher that he was off-duty at this time. The Hammond police spotted a young black man walking north on Halsted, fitting the description of the reported thief. Victor saw the police cruiser. He turned and ran in the opposite direction. 2 Hammond police officers exited their vehicle and pursued Victor. As the 2 officers chased Victor, they ran across the street, and one of them was struck by a motorist who didn't see them at first. The other officer called into dispatch.
"Officer down at Maxwell and Halsted. Send ambulance. I'm in pursuit of the suspect."
By this time, several Hammond squad cars were in the vicinity. As Victor turned a corner, 2 other officers had already exited their vehicle and were waiting, guns drawn. Victor turned to run in the other direction, and the officer opened fire, shooting and killing Victor Thomas, hitting him in the back. An internal police inquiry determined that the police officer was justified in shooting Victor Thomas because he believed Victor was armed and dangerous, based upon the dispatch notification. The inquiry confirmed that the gloves on Victor Thomas's hands were stolen from the Toolbox, and that Victor had a wrapped kitchen knife set under his jacket, also stolen from the Toolbox. The estate of Victor Thomas has brought suit against the Toolbox and its employee, Damon Jack, for negligence in reporting to the dispatch that Victor was armed and dangerous, without having seen a weapon on Victor Thomas's person. Victor Thomas's widow and children, themselves African American, contend that it was reasonably foreseeable that the Hammond police were more likely to shoot and kill a young black suspect if they were advised that the suspect was armed and dangerous. They further contend that since a kitchen set, which admittedly included long, sharp knives, was in a box wrapped in cellophane, it was negligent to notify dispatch that the perp was armed and dangerous, especially since Damon Jack did not see Victor Thomas brandish a weapon. The Toolbox and Damon Jack counter that it would be easy and quick to rip the cellophane and Victor Thomas to arm himself. A wrapped weapon, they say, is still a weapon. Damon points out that the importance of warning fellow police officers of every danger they face, and he denies that the shooting was in any way foreseeable from his warning. The issue in this case is whether or not Damon Jack, and by implication his employer, the Toolbox, was negligent in identifying Victor Thomas as armed and dangerous. Was it foreseeable that, having notified the police that a young black man was armed and dangerous, the police are more likely to shoot and kill him?